The National Chess Championship presents.
We have national champion in Ferdinand battling against Ayemajibola Olayiwaju, and now we have the English opening. The Agicot variation by White decides to go for E3. The knight comes out to F3 now, and is trying to fight for the control of the light squares. Now pawn to C6. Now D4 is played on the board, preparing to bring the bishop out to D3, and knight comes out and the bishop comes to D3. Pawn captures and then bishop captures. Now the bishop is attacked and the bishop comes back now to D3. So this is quite an interesting position, and then both players are trying to give it their best here. And then the pawn now is strengthened and the knight comes now to the center. Now the bishop develops to B7, and it's going to be a really interesting game as both players really love to play aggressive positions. So White has the option of castling, but he decides to develop the bishop first. And now pawn to C5, attacking the center pawn. So according to the engine here, the best move is to capture the knight, which he does. Knight captures and the other knight recaptures. And now the best move according to the engine is to short castle. Will he go for it or not? He decides to go for it. He finds the best move, short castle. And now according to the engine, black should try and gain space in the center, but he captures and black captures with the knight, which is a blunder because he blunders the pawn. The knight now, if the knight moves away, the bishop is hanging. So the best move according to the engine is to capture the knight. They capture the pawn, but he decides to sacrifice the knight instead. The best move would have been knight captures, pawn captures, and then bishop captures, having compensation for the pawn, for the knight instead. And then pawn captures the knight and pawn captures. Now it's a check on the board, and then this is something that black needs to handle carefully in order to convert the position easily. So it brings out the bishop now to E7, and then the best move now to keep up the attack is to develop the bishop and then keep on mounting pressure on the position. So he looks at the position, tries to find if there are any other alternatives, and he plays the best position, comes out, and now the knight defends, and then the engine says he should try and sacrifice the rook instead to maintain the initiative, but he thinks otherwise. From the looks of things, he tries to find any key idea here that he could play for, and looks at the board again. That's why I love both players, always giving it their best shot and making sure that the game is something we both enjoy. So he looks at the board again. Ferdinand is the current national champion of Nigeria, and he captures the bishop. Now the knight recaptures, and you can see according to the engine is to play the move queen to h5. The idea is to prevent black from castling, as he will walk right into the checkmate in one threat, and he finds the best move here, queen to h5. Now the best move here now is for him to bring out his queen and then possibly bring out the other pieces to maintain the initiative here. So he has to find the best move in this position, and will he find it? It looks very well. A move like pawn to g6 doesn't work because queen to e5 will be very deadly in the board. And then he looks, checks which piece is going to play, reaches out and tries to find the best move on the board. You can see the level of focus between the two players as they are giving it their best shot here. Reaches out, thinks once again, tries to calculate and check what is the best line. The engine says pawn to e6 is a very strong move. When he tries to find any other alternative, and he plays king to f7. Now queen to c4 to 5 immediately by white, pinning the knight now to the king, and black activates his rook. Now he brings his queen back almost immediately, maintaining the pressure along this diagonal. Now the engine is saying we should push this pawn, but it's a bit risky, and he decides to play the rook to c7. Now the rook comes now to e3, creating enormous pressure along. So he's trying to see if they can bring the other rook in to keep on the attack. Out the board, tries to find something that the pressure just keeps increasing. Now he decides to bring the queen now, threatening the checkmate in one, but Ferdinand finds the best move, attacking the queen. And now queen to c4 is a blunder, because now it has given him the chance to penetrate with his queen, and Ferdinand finds the move, queen to d6 now. Now the best move here is to play the move pawn to g6 to create an escape square for the king and maintain attack on the board.
Let him cook.
Looks at it.
Let him cook now.
Tries
Let
to
him
figure out if
cook.
there's anything.
I said,
Oh no, he
let
blunders.
him
Checkmate in one. And that was the only losing move on the board, and he missed it.